Whispers rise from the deep. Shadows are etched into stone. Far from the crowded postcards of the Adriatic, on a remote speck of land cut off by sea and secrecy, lies Vis Island, Croatia's most enigmatic outpost. Just 90 square kilometers in size, this rugged slab of limestone floats off the Dalmatian coast like a locked vault, guarding stories of war, resistance, and survival. For decades, Vis was forbidden. Closed to foreign visitors until the late 1980s, the island remained sealed long after the guns fell silent, a relic of Cold War secrecy layered atop older scars. What the waves protected was not just geography, but memory. This is Vis Island, once the most isolated Allied stronghold in the Adriatic during World War II, and it was never meant to be found easily. Carved into its cliffs are hidden bunkers, artillery nests disguised as caves, and submarine pens hollowed directly into rock, invisible from the open sea. Beneath its calm bays lie sunken aircraft and wrecked ships, silent witnesses to a conflict that reshaped the Balkans and the balance of Europe. In 1941, Axis forces swept across Yugoslavia. Italy occupied much of the Dalmatian coast, while Nazi Germany tightened its grip inland. But Vis, exposed, isolated, and difficult to defend, became something extraordinary. It became a partisan island. As resistance movements were crushed elsewhere, Vis held. Under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito, Yugoslavia's partisan forces transformed the island into a fortress of defiance, the only Adriatic island never fully occupied by Axis powers during the war. Isolation was both curse and shield. Families fled into the hills, sheltering in limestone caves as Italian and German aircraft bombed the harbor towns of Komiža and Vis. Entire communities lived underground for months, surviving on rationed food and rainwater, emerging only at night. Inside these caves, survivors recall the sound of radios, crude transmitters hidden beneath blankets, crackling with coded messages sent to Allied command. Intelligence flowed out, supplies flowed in. By 1943, Vis had become a nerve center of espionage and coordination. British Special Operations executive agents landed under cover of darkness. Allied pilots shot down over the Balkans were smuggled to the island and evacuated by sea or air. Makeshift runways were carved into the landscape to support Allied aircraft, one of the most daring logistical feats in the Mediterranean theater. From this rock in the sea, resistance rippled outward. After Italy's capitulation in 1943, German forces intensified their assault. Bombs fell harder, blockades tightened, but Vis did not break. Instead, it became a symbol, proof that occupation was not inevitable, that liberation could be organized from the margins. Tito himself used Vis as a command base, coordinating operations that would eventually push Axis forces out of Yugoslavia. The island's isolation forged unities, hardship forged resolve. Victory here was born in silence, and the sea remembers. Today, Vis's waters are among the clearest in the Mediterranean, but beneath their glassy surface lies a submerged battlefield. Divers descend through blue light to find WWII aircraft resting upright on the seabed, their wings intact, cockpits still sealed. British bombers, German fighters, cargo vessels frozen mid-journey. Time tried to bury them. Salt preserved them. Each wreck is a chapter. Propellers stopped forever. Ammunition still stacked. Fuselages draped in coral. These are not ruins reclaimed by chaos, but relics claimed by the deep, transformed into underwater memorials. Above the surface, bunkers remain, their concrete mouths staring blankly at the horizon. Submarine tunnels echo with footsteps. Gun emplacements overlook empty seas that once swarmed with danger. Vis does not advertise its past. It waits. This island's story is not one of conquest, but of endurance, of civilians turned survivors, of secrecy turned strength, of isolation transformed into victory. This is Croatia's Vis Island, a place where war left its fingerprints in stone and steel, where liberation began in whispers, and where the deep still guards the truth. The Adriatic is calling. Dive into the darkness. Let us rewind to the storm's eye. April 1941. Across Europe, the Axis war machine is in motion. Nazi Germany crushes Yugoslavia in days. From the south, Mussolini's Italy strikes across the Adriatic, seizing the Dalmatian islands one by one. And far offshore, like a chess piece placed with intention, Vis Island falls. Strategically positioned 50 kilometers from the mainland, Vis commands the sea lanes to Split and Dubrovnik. Whoever controls this rock controls the central Adriatic. For its 3,000 inhabitants, fishermen, farmers, families rooted in the rhythms of tide and soil, the invasion is swift and suffocating. Italian troops land, fascist banners rise, and Vis is cut off from the world. Boats are confiscated to prevent escape. Radios disappear. Ferries stop running. Food is rationed to crumbs. Olive oil diluted. Bread stretched thin. Fish catches seized for occupying forces. The sea, once livelihood, becomes a wall. Fear settles into the villages of Komija and Vistown. Informers appear. Whispers replace conversation. Night patrols comb the streets. Any sign of dissent is punished. The island becomes a pressure chamber, isolated, watched, hungry. But beneath the silence, resistance simmers. Inspired by Josip Broz Tito's calls to uprising from the mainland, local men and women form underground partisan cells. Weapons are smuggled through hidden coves under moonless skies. Messages pass hand to hand. Italian patrols are sabotaged, cut telephone lines, ambushed supply routes, boats damaged in the dark. Vis is occupied but never subdued. Then comes the fracture. September 1943, Italy collapses. Mussolini's regime falls, and the Italian garrison disintegrates almost overnight. Chaos ripples across the Adriatic. German forces rush to fill the vacuum, but on Vis they arrive too late. The partisans strike first. Armed with Allied supplied weapons and hardened by years of resistance, Tito's forces seize control of the island. German aircraft bomb relentlessly. Luftwaffe raids hammer the harbors, but Vis holds. What was once an occupied island becomes a fortress of defiance. Anti-aircraft guns are dragged into position. Bunkers are carved into cliffs. Observation posts rise along ridgelines. The island transforms, layer by layer, into a defensive stronghold designed not to be taken. And then, the leader arrives. June 1944, Josip Broz Tito lands on Vis, slipping through enemy nets to reach safety. He establishes his headquarters in a mountain cave on Mount Hum, high above the sea. From this hidden chamber, cool, damp, and invisible from the air, he directs the liberation of Yugoslavia, German. Intelligence hunts him relentlessly. Assassination attempts close in. Yet Tito survives, protected by secrecy, terrain, and loyal guards who know every fold of the island. From this cave, history turns. Vis becomes the Allies' unsinkable aircraft carrier. British Special Operations executive agents operate freely. Number 2 Commando Brigade establishes bases, training for raids along the occupied coast. U.S. Rangers drill alongside Yugoslav partisans, forging an unprecedented coalition. A makeshift airfield is scraped from the rocky interior. From it, RAF squadrons take off. Damaged planes landing here after missions over the Balkans. Allied pilots rescued and evacuated by night. German supply lines are hit. Railways sabotaged. Garrisons isolated. Despite constant bombing, despite blockade and pressure, the Wehrmacht never takes Vis. Its isolation, once a sentence of starvation, becomes its greatest defense. Too distant to conquer easily, too fortified to assault cheaply, too valuable to ignore. Vis survives the war undefeated, a small island standing alone in the Adriatic, shaping the fate of a nation. From occupation to resistance, from silence to command, from isolation to victory. This is the heart of Vis Island's WWII story, where the storm broke and history changed course. Now, through the haze of memory, the island begins to speak. Not through monuments or maps, but through voices that endured the siege. Decades later, survivors of Vis still recall the war not as dates, but as sensations. Hunger gnawing at the stomach, the smell of damp stone in bunkers, the scream of engines tearing the sky apart. Author and researcher Frank McGinley, who gathered wartime testimonies from islanders, describes Vis as a place where isolation became a daily test of survival. Blackouts were absolute, he recounts. Families rationed bread into crumbs, counting days by what little remained. When the Stukas came, there was nowhere to run, only down. An elder from Komaja, his voice still steady, remembers the sea as both savior and executioner. We fished at night, no lights, no sounds. Italian patrols watched the coves. German mines floated like sharks beneath the surface. One wrong cast, one wrong wave, and you were gone. For children, war became a game played far too young. Boys and girls ran barefoot through olive groves, carrying folded notes hidden in bread loaves or stitched into clothing. Messages passed between partisan cells. To the occupiers, they were harmless. To the resistance, they were lifelines. Innocence became camouflage. A woman from Vistown recalls a deeper cruelty of isolation. Silence. No news, no medicine. Fevers came, and there was nothing we could do. My brother died waiting for help that never arrived. Then, one night, the sky changed. Parachutes bloomed above the hills, she says. White flowers in the dark. Food, radios, medicine, hope. Allied supply drops, guided by partisan, signal fires, became moments of collective breath. Entire villages emerged from hiding to retrieve crates before dawn erased the evidence. But isolation bred fear, as well as courage. Villages were encircled with barbed wire. Curfews were enforced first by Italian blackshirts, then by partisan guards wary of German infiltration. Fishermen arriving from unfamiliar coves were interrogated. Trust was fragile. Espionage thrived in the cracks, and Vis became a nest of spies. Its caves and hidden bays sheltered Allied intelligence operatives, including British Special Operations executive agents embedded with Tito's forces. Under operations such as Floyd Force, operatives parachuted onto the island to train partisans, coordinate sabotage, and track German naval movements, including U-boats slipping through the Adriatic. Deep inside Tito's cave headquarters, radios crackled day and night. Morse code echoed off stone walls. Messages flowed outward, to Cairo, to Bari, to London. Intelligence intercepted by the Allies, including decrypted German communications originating from Bletchley Park, was relayed back through Vis, guiding air raids and partisan strikes across the Balkans. But espionage cuts both ways. German agents infiltrated, disguised as fishermen or refugees. Some were exposed in midnight interrogations, swift, brutal reckonings born of desperation. In isolation, paranoia thrived. Betrayal carried a death sentence. By 1944 and 1945, the tide turned decisively. From Vis, Allied commanded partisan forces launched amphibious assaults across the Dalmatian coast. Raids struck Brač, Var, and smaller islands. Fast, precise operations that dismantled German holdouts and reopened sea lanes. What began as a besieged rock became a springboard for liberation. When the war finally ended, Vis stood free. Never conquered, never silenced. Its bunkers scarred the cliffs. Its caves echoed with memory. Its people emerged lean, hardened, unbroken. A microcosm of Yugoslavia's partisan victory. An island where isolation forged unity, where secrecy saved lives, where survival became resistance. And even now, when the wind moves through pine forests and waves lap against forgotten docks, the voices linger, quiet, resolute reminders that history here was not merely endured, it was defied. Venture deeper now, into the stone itself. On Vis, the war was not only fought on beaches or in the air, it was excavated, dug by hand, hidden beneath limestone and pine roots, a shadow world carved into the island's bones. Across Vis, dozens of bunkers, tunnels, and submarine pens form a subterranean web, initially constructed by Italian occupation forces, then seized, expanded, and perfected by Tito's partisans. What began as fascist fortification became a fortress of resistance. Our descent begins at Parja Bay, just outside Vis town. Here lies the Jastog submarine base, one of the most imposing WWII relics in the Adriatic. Excavated in 1943, this massive cavern stretches over 110 meters into the cliff, its mouth carefully angled to conceal vessels from aerial reconnaissance. Inside, Yugoslav and Allied submarines once slipped silently into the dark, engines cut, crews whispering as Luftwaffe patrols roared overhead. Rails embedded in the stone floor once guided torpedoes and fuel carts. Mooring points still scar the walls. The water inside remains unnervingly still, reflecting rock like black glass. This was not merely shelter, it was invisibility, a tactical advantage that allowed covert insertions, supply drops, and sabotage missions along the occupied coast. Historians from the Croatian Institute of History confirm that Vis hosted multiple active submarine facilities, making it one of the most strategically valuable naval hideouts in partisan-controlled Europe. From the sea, we climb upward, toward command. High above the island, at 587 meters on Mount Hum, a narrow opening disappears into the rock face. This is Tito's cave, a natural karst chamber transformed into a wartime nerve center in 1944. Reinforced with concrete, wired with radios, and guarded day and night, it served as Tito's personal headquarters during the most dangerous months of the war. Inside, the space is stark. A simple wooden bed, a radio desk, maps pinned to stone walls. Escape tunnels branch into darkness, designed for rapid evacuation should German commandos breach the summit. British liaison officers, including envoys connected to Winston Churchill, climbed this mountain to confer in secrecy, shaping post-war Yugoslavia from within a cave. But command alone could not sustain resistance. Beneath Vis town, hidden from bombs and prying eyes, lies one of the island's most haunting installations, the Ark Underground Hospital. Dug rapidly in 1943, this underground medical complex stretches through a maze of corridors and chambers, operating rooms, recovery wards, storage rooms, all carved by hand. Here, wounded partisans and Allied airmen were treated under blackout conditions, surgeons working by dim lamps as bomb blasts shook the stone overhead. Medical historians note that the hospital was designed to remain operational, even under direct attack, ventilated through hidden shafts protected by meters of rock. It saved hundreds of lives, and the shadows extend further. In Komiža Harbor, torpedo boat pens were cut directly into the shoreline, shielded by camouflaged netting and protected by anti-aircraft emplacements positioned along the cliffs. These batteries, documented in German reconnaissance reports, successfully repelled repeated Luftwaffe attacks. Later layers were added during the Cold War: missile bases at Stupišća Point, radar stations, sealed bunkers. But beneath them, the WWII foundations remain, the architecture of defiance. Today, military historians and licensed guides lead visitors through these spaces. Flashlights cut through damp corridors. Salt air clings to concrete. And on the kitchen walls, the past still speaks. Faded graffiti, scratched in 1944, Sloboda ili smrt, Freedom or death, not propaganda, a promise. These bunkers were not meant to impress. They were meant to endure, to hide, to protect lives, secrets, and hope itself. On Vis, the war was buried, but never erased. The island remembers, but Vis does not surrender all its memories to stone. Some lie beneath the sea, beyond the cliffs and coves where the Adriatic turns impossibly clear and deep blue fades to black. The seabed around Vis forms a submerged archive of World War II, a silent graveyard of metal, courage, and unfinished missions. Here, aerial battles ended not in explosions, but in impact with water. Planes vanished, crews escaped, or did not, and history sank quietly into the depths. During the war, Vis served as a lifeline for Allied air operations over the Balkans. Bombers damaged over targets in Romania, Hungary, and occupied Yugoslavia often limped back toward the Adriatic, aiming for emergency landings on Vis's makeshift airfield. Many never made it. The sea caught them instead. Off the island's southern approaches lies one of the Adriatic's most iconic wrecks, a B-17 flying fortress resting at 72 meters. On November 6, 1944, the bomber was returning from a strike on the Ploiești oil fields, Nazi Germany's most critical fuel source, when damage forced the crew to ditch near Vis. They bailed out. The aircraft did not. Today, the B-17 lies upright, eerily intact. Its wings stretch wide across the seabed. Propellers are frozen mid-spin, as if time stopped at the moment of impact. Depth dims color, but form remains, testament to the engineering that once carried 10 men into flak-filled skies. Nearby, another titan of the air war rests in quieter water, a B-24 Liberator, settled at approximately 40 meters. Its broken tail section lies apart from the fuselage, a favorite site for experienced technical divers. Inside, control cables snake through, sediment. Instruments sit untouched, a cockpit abandoned mid-flight. These wrecks are not tombs of chaos, they are preserved moments. The Adriatic's low salinity and limited currents have slowed decay. Over decades, life has claimed the machines. Coral crusts the aluminum skin. Sponges bloom where gunners once stood. Moray eels coil inside bomb bays, guardians of cavities once filled with explosives. Below the waves, war has become reef, and the aircraft are only part of the story. Scattered across the seafloor are shipwrecks, victims of torpedoes, mines, and air attacks that turned the central Adriatic into a lethal corridor. The Brioni steamer, resting between 45 and 61 meters, lies broken but massive, its cargo holds now patrolled by groupers. The Vasilios, a Greek cargo ship sunk by a mine, spans depths from 22 to 53 meters, its hull split yet unmistakable. Closer to shore, more accessible relics surface. The Teti wreck, lying between 8 and 31 meters, offers a first glimpse for recreational divers. A rusted silhouette softened by time, anemones blooming along railings, fish weaving through collapsed decks. This is not destruction preserved. It is transformation. Our journey ends here, underwater, where silence reigns. From Komiža, divers board small boats at dawn. Tanks hiss, masks seal, and then descent. Sunbeams spear through the blue, fading as depth increases. Shapes emerge. A wing, a fuselage, a ghost. At the B-17, the nose still points forward, defiant. Faded nose art clings to corroded metal. Cockpit glass lies shattered, scattered across sand like stars. There is no sound but breath and bubbles, no movement but fish. And yet, presence is overwhelming. These wrecks connect everything we have followed, the bunkers above, the espionage below, the island that could not be taken. They are the final witnesses, machines sacrificed so men could live, missions completed even in failure. On Vis, history does not end at the shoreline. It continues downward, into depth, into memory, into the quiet where sacrifice rests, but is never forgotten. The Adriatic closes over the wrecks once more, and Vis keeps its secrets. Today, Vis rises from its shadows, not erased, not forgotten, but transformed. After decades sealed by military restriction during the Cold War, the island has re-emerged as one of the Adriatic's most compelling destinations, a place where history and stillness coexist. Far from the cruise ship corridors and party ports of the Dalmatian coast, Vis remains deliberately restrained. Its appeal lies not in excess, but in authenticity. Travel publications now single it out for its unspoiled character, its resistance to over-tourism, its refusal to forget what shaped it. Here, the past is not packaged, it is encountered. Former military bunkers, once designed to hide submarines and shield commanders, have found new purpose. Concrete caverns host art installations, photography exhibits, and historical archives, their acoustics amplifying both music and memory. Gun emplacements overlook vineyards. Radar stations frame sunsets. Instruments of war have become vessels of reflection. Below the surface, diving has evolved into stewardship. Licensed dive operators work alongside marine biologists and heritage authorities to ensure that WWII wrecks remain protected as underwater cultural monuments. Fees from technical dives help fund conservation, mapping, and research, turning curiosity into preservation. The bombers and ships are no longer trophies, they are classrooms without walls. On land, guided military tours trace the island's layered defenses, from Italian-era fortifications to partisan bunkers to Cold War missile sites, placing Vis among Europe's most intact examples of 20th-century military archaeology. Survivors' testimonies are woven into these routes, grounding strategy in human cost. And Vis has found a quieter kind of fame as well. Film crews arrived, cameras rolled, sunlit coves, and stone villages appeared on screens worldwide. Yet even popular culture bends to the island's rhythm, briefly visiting, then departing, leaving the deeper story intact. What Vis offers now is rare. Tourism without amnesia. The island teaches by example that landscapes marked by war need not be erased to heal, that relics can coexist with renewal, that peace does not require forgetting, it requires understanding. As bunkers echo with footsteps instead of orders, and wrecks shelter fish instead of fire, Vis reminds us that liberation is not a moment in history. It is a process. So walk the tunnels, listen to the survivors, descend into the blue. Because here, in this small island ringed by deep water and deeper memory, the past still speaks, and the future listens. Thanks for joining this shadowed sojourn. Subscribe for more hidden histories. Until next time, let the Adriatic unveil your secrets.